Hey you guys, this is something that I wanted to film and put up on YouTube. It's a finished craft project that I just was getting ready to pack up and put in the mail to the recipient. And it is an altered Altoids tin. And you can tell by the size and the shape that this used to be an Altoids tin. And I participated in an altered tin swap, and this is what I came up with for my partner. Her preferences, one of the things she listed that she liked was fairy tales. And I was at the craft store just looking for some inspiration. I had an idea, but it really wasn't coming together very well. And I thought, what can I do that's fairy tale? And I saw this Once Upon a Time pewter piece. And you can tell it's actually got some dimension and some weight to it, and it's really nice. It's a pretty little scroll. This is actually a pendant for a necklace. And you can't tell, but underneath these flowers, there's a loop on each side. But I thought, well, I can use this as a centerpiece on a tin. So I bought it, and then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, other than the Once Upon a Time banner. So I was at a scrapbook store, and I saw a pack of these really pretty vintage, almost millinery looking flowers, and I thought, how pretty are those? And I thought that the colors, the blue and the kind of coolness in the blue, and this would look really pretty with the pewter. So I picked those, and I thought, well, I've got to do something with the tin. So instead of painting the tin, because it's hard to get paint to stick to a tin, and I didn't really want to deal with trying to prime it and so on and so forth, I took my Dremel tool and used a bristle, like oh gosh, I don't want to call it a brush. It wasn't a brush, but a I'll come up with a scrubber. I don't know. I'll come up with the proper word, but it's not the wire spiky bristle wheel. It's the one that's got the texture of maybe a Brillo pad. And it's a buffing wheel. Thank you, a buffing wheel. So I used my Dremel buffing wheel to buff all of the paint off of the top, the lid, and the bottom of the tin. And it just comes right off if you use a buffing wheel. So it just comes right off, and then all you have to do is, take a little bit of alcohol and spray on it and wipe it off to get any residue off. And I decided to leave the brass on the side. These tins aren't actually brass tins, or at least these older Altoids that have the flat top aren't a brass tin. It's actually a tin. And the silver you see inside, the brass is painted on. But I left the brass on the sides because I thought it was added a little bit to it. It was far enough away from the pewter that it didn't contrast too bad or clash. So the color I put on, I used Ranger alcohol inks and the Tim Holtz alcohol inks and the little droppers, because they adhere really well to metal, and you can see they're not coming off on my hand at all. This is a few days old, so they're very much cured. The bottom I'd used a color called espresso, and you can see some kind of streakiness and shininess. That is simply what's left behind when you buff the tin with the buffing wheel. It kind of etches into it. If you want, you can etch curly cues or a design in it. This is the bottom, so I just wanted to get a color. The sides, I dabbed the espresso, and then the other color, the teal, is called stream. So I dabbed the stream and the espresso on the brass and left some of the brass showing, and it has kind of a tortoiseshell almost effect, kind of a patina effect too. And I liked that. And then for the lid, I used a color called Stream, which is a nice pretty teal that really looks pretty with the teal and the flowers. And the flowers and the leaves, the brand is Petaloo, Petaloo. And I'm not quite sure. I'm going to reach over here and click on my computer because I've got it on. It's just called Petaloo Floral Embellishments. I believe these are called, these are hydrangeas. So I just found them in a scrapbook store. I liked the colors, and to adhere it all down, I first thought I was going to use E6000, but then I decided no, I don't want to do that because it takes forever to cure, and it's been raining, and I really wanted this to not fall apart when I ship it. So I just used, I don't know what the actual brand name, I call it red super sticky tape. It is the double-sided red, almost as strong as super glue tape. And for something that's decorative, even, you know, I can hold by the thing, it's not going to come apart. So it didn't need any more than that. I didn't have to rivet anything or solder anything. I just adhered it down with the super sticky tape. I arranged the flowers, and then I stuck down the little pewter piece. And that is the outside of the altered tin. And we really didn't have to put anything on the inside, but when I was at the craft store buying the Once Upon a Time banner, I also found this little notebook. And this was actually a pendant. It had a bail attached to it, or, you know, a ring to hang it off of a cord to wear as a necklace. And I thought, well, it didn't have the flowers, and it had this really pretty pewter fleur-de-lis, which is the same, you know, pewter as the Once Upon a Time, and it has these pretty little crystals, and it's a functional little book. And I thought, how cute and you know, just precious as that. And I thought, okay, I'll add that into the tin so she can have a little booklet. And so I adhered a couple of the Petaloo flowers, and it was just an assortment of brown flowers, ivory flowers, teal flowers that have this kind of mottled color look on it, and leaves. So I just picked some extra flowers and adhered them with the super sticky tape, and just gonna pack that into the tin so that when she gets her tin and opens it up, that's what she'll have. But yeah, I really like doing altered tins. I just, for some reason, I'm fascinated with tins, and I like to buy mints and candy in tins, and then I keep the tins with intentions of altering them, but rarely get around to doing it. And I joined a swap and a craft swap group so that I could actually knock out a tin and make use of one of my empty tins. And this is my fairy tale themed tin for my swap. So hopefully my swap partner will receive it early next week, and she'll like it.